I'm gonna make Minecraft realistic. I watched the Minecraft movie trailer a few weeks ago, and what can I say, it definitely looks very interesting. What caught my eye was this realistic llama at the end of the trailer, and I thought that it would be fun to try and make some other mobs realistic before movie comes out. It's not gonna be easy for sure, because I have to make them real, but also keep them blocky, which is something I've never done before. So without further ado, let's start with Snow Golem and we'll see how it goes. First, let's create dark background. I'm gonna use this background for all three mobs. I'm gonna put light on the left side using simple exposure. Let's drop the Snow Golem and make it a tad bigger. I have to make 3 blocks, so I'm gonna make one and duplicate it 2 times. First, let's decrease the opacity so I can see all cubes at the same time. The middle one is a bit smaller, so I'm gonna make the middle one a bit smaller. And I'm gonna make the top one the same size as the bottom. Let's change the colors of the cubes so it looks similar to the mob. Light is coming from the left side, so I'm gonna add quick shadows on the right side so I can fill the shape. There we go. I'm just using the exposure, nothing special here. Okay, the shapes are pretty much done. It definitely looks 3D. Now let's add the pumpkin. To make it look like a cube, I'm gonna use liquify and try to match the cube shape. I'm taking very small steps here to not really mess up the texture of the pumpkin. I have to fix the edges as well so it doesn't look like a straight line. So the pumpkin looks pretty nice. Now let's add the snow on the middle cube. I'm just gonna clip it right here and I'm gonna have to use distort so it looks like the perspective is matching. There we go. I'm gonna do the same thing on the right side, just duplicate the texture and it looks pretty good. Let's do the same thing on the bottom, just duplicate this and flip it for the left side. I'm also gonna match the perspective on the top side of the bottom cube. Obviously the edges need some fixing because it looks like a straight line right now and we have to make it look like a snow, so I'm removing some parts here and there, try to make it look not so perfect. Shadow also needs to be a lot softer because it is very harsh and very straight, and I'm just doing the same thing here, trying to remove it and make it not so perfect. I'm also gonna add shadows here because this part is blocked by the middle cube. There we go. Also gonna make this part a bit softer as well. Pumpkin also needs the shadow on the right side, of course. I'm just gonna make simple one for now with exposure. There we go. To make the face of the Snow Golem, first I'm gonna trace it with a normal brush. There we go. Let's fill up the insides and now I'm gonna add the inner shadow so it looks like there is space inside and it is actually carved. Let's add some more inner shadow because it looks pretty thin right now. The skin of a pumpkin is a bit thicker. I did the same thing with the edges that I did on the outside of a pumpkin, so it looks like there are some bumps on the lines. Let's make the inside a bit darker because it is too bright right now. Middle part also needs some shadows because there are some parts that are not exposed to the light. There we go. Same thing here, just exposure for now. Let's add this stick as a hand. I'm just gonna make it a bit shorter and try to give this cubic shape by adding really harsh shadows on the right side. Exactly the same thing on the left side, just duplicate and add the same harsh shadows on the right side. Let's also add this texture inside of a pumpkin and it does look a lot better. There we go. To make buttons, I'm just gonna make a shape and paint it with a normal brush, nothing special here, and I'm just gonna duplicate it 6 times. It needs a shadow on the right side obviously, and this is the final result. Well, this looks good, I guess. Definitely not my favorite mob in the game and not my favorite edit as well, but I wanted the first one to be kind of easy, so I'll take it as a win for sure. Next ones really scare me, especially the fox, because I hate working with fur, and plus I have to make it blocky. Sounds pretty hard to me, so let's see how it goes. First, let's cut out this middle part from this fox. I'm just gonna fix the edges. It needs a bit warping, of course. There we go. Let's cut the edges so it looks like the shape. I'm gonna cut out this tail for the tail, same thing here, just warp it to match the shape. Let's drop the head as well, and we have to remove everything but face. There we go. To make the shape of the head, I'm just gonna duplicate the middle part so we have the same texture on every shape. Let's remove the harsh edges to sort of merge the face to the head shape. Of course it needs a lot more editing, but for now it is fine. Let's add the feet as well. We have to give the ears a cubic shape, same thing here, I'm just gonna use the liquify and try to match as good as I can. Same thing on the other ear, there we go. Now it's time to fix the edges of the fur. This part is the most time consuming, but the final result is definitely worth it. Now I'll try to change the color of the fur to match the original mob. There we go. Let's start adding the shadows on the right side. Same thing here, I'm just gonna do it with exposure and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna change the shape of the feet just a bit because it doesn't really match the mob. Let's add the shadows on the feet as well. There we go. Pretty harsh shadow on the ground. And finally, let's add the camera raw filters. As you see, I changed the fur texture after the recording because I just didn't like how it was, and I definitely like this one a lot more. I gotta say, this one was not easy. I'm satisfied with the final result, but I think it could have been better. The final mob, which is chicken, is a speed art, so feel free to skip to the final result, or if you wanna watch, I hope you enjoy it. This looks funny and pretty good, I think. I mean, they all look cursed if I'm being honest, but I still really enjoyed making all of them. Before I end the video, I am planning to review and rate your Photoshop edits, so if you wanna see your edit in the next video, make sure to either upload it on Instagram and add hashtag GugasNebula or just drop it in my Discord channel. If you're not joined, link is in the description. Thank you for watching the video and I hope I'll see you very soon.